that's a big win. I want to just kind of go around and give you a tour. Welcome to the Rusty Garage and Homestead. My name is Mike. Today's video, we're going to be using the dozer again, and we're going to try to make a trail on the west side of the property and try to get to the northwest corner. But first we need to add some diesel, hydraulic fluid, and tighten up the left track a little bit. And we're not too low after running it for an hour the other day. But I do like these new buckets. Look at that, they put a little grab handle in the bottom of it for you. Help pour it. This left side likes to loosen off after a day or two. Not bad, but I like to keep it topped off when I know I'm going to be on it for a little while. This west side's going to take a little longer than the east side did, but I really just want to get a trail back to that northeast corner, and then I can start worrying about opening that end up. Technically, to do this correctly, you'd put a straight edge across the idlers and then measure the distance down to your grouser bar. Just made it a little tighter, it's fine. And this grease gun, the CC grease gun, I legitimately use it all the time. Still do not like the tip that they have. I just haven't replaced it with a lock and lube yet. Okay, now that that's all done, we will get this thing fired up, let it start warming up, and then we're gonna head down past the trailer over there and then come in on that little hillside at an angle, kind of a 45-degree, across the creek, and try to get over to that east or west fence right over there. Now I'll try to get you all set up with some better camera angles than we did on the last dozer video, but I do need to get this done. I'm working the next 96 hours and 8 days, so real thrilled about that. So I'm not going to be doing any filming or anything for about the next week anyway. So, and I need to get access to this west side. So that's what we're going to do today. That's what we're going to work on. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so we're here on the south side of the trailer now, and yeah, you can see there is just stuff everywhere, but you can see a lot of the small stuff. I think I could snake my way in around and not get through a bunch of these big trees, just so I can save as many as possible. But I'm gonna set you guys up on the machine and let's get to blazing the trail. stop knocking you all off this thing. It is thick back here. See, here's the northeast corner. We finally found it. Thick. Alright, well, we have made it to the northwest corner. I've got quite a bit of this stuff cleared out. I went over on, I didn't realize there's two neighbors over here because there's a corner post here, back here, and then this other property. So I went over on that a little bit. There's a bunch of honeysuckle and shoemake. Right there here, they put some T-post in and one strand of barbed wire like they intended on putting a fence in at some point. Steel pipe in the ground here, but I've made it pretty much all the way down to the creek, past that dead tree there. I couldn't push it over. And right across the creek is where we cleared last time. But I've got a little opening. I think I'm gonna start heading down the fence line now and try to get some of that opened up so we can drive down some of it. But I'm down to about a quarter tank of fuel. Dad's went and got about 25 more gallons for me, so yeah, we'll start making our way back towards the house. All right, everyone, the phone died when we was dozing. That last little bit. That day, that was my last day off. It's been several days since then. I've already did a 48-hour rotation at work, but I want to show you, I want to just kind of go around and give you a tour and show you everything that we did get done. We have gotten some rain the past few days, so that has been extremely welcome because we were getting extremely dry. Even back in a lot of this thick vegetation where there should be some moisture, as soon as I'd push trees over and some of the briars and stuff out of the way, it was just almost powder. It was so dry. But I'm excited to show you all what we've got opened up so far. We're able to get tractors or whatever kind of back in here now. It's opened up enough. I did find the property pins on the northeast corner and the northwest corner. Kind of get those all marked out by flags. I can see down by the creek there's a few trees and stuff that I still need to take out, just so when we get ready to put a fence in, we've got a nice straight line. On the northwest corner where I'll show you all, somebody attempted to put a fence in at one time. They've got a bunch of T-posts stuck up in the ground and one strand of barbed wire. But looking at it, it is not even close on the property line. It kind of goes at an angle. So all those T-posts are on my new property. We're going to end up pulling all those out, cleaning both sides of that out, dozing it, probably 8 to 10 foot on the neighbor's property just to have a clean area on both sides of the fence. But let's hop on the side by side and let's go give you a tour. See right through there, that is the pond. So we're right here on the west side of it. There's a lot of small stuff in there. There's maybe a couple tiny little trees we may pull out for firewood, but most of that's probably just going to end up in that brush pile. Okay, so here's the northwest corner. Got it pretty much cleared up. I think you guys can see right down there, there's the property pin up against that. So that's all kind of in line. But from where my flag is on the east side of the property, I cannot see this one. So I went ahead and just put one over here so we could see. Let me pan you guys around. See, here's that fence. And whenever I get in line back here to look, this fence is about 3 foot over. And let me see, like I said, we still have some timber, but I think, see if I can show y'all. See that ribbon way over there? Barely make it out. About 10 foot the other side of that tree that I have marked is the property line. So all this stuff, we'll rip all these T-posts out and then just take that dozer, make a swipe right down through here. But we've managed to get a lot of this open. You guys can see all the briars and the little saplings and stuff that are coming up through here. This needed it in a really bad way. I'm walking down towards the creek now, so you guys can see. I'll flip you around. And this fence up here really didn't make a whole lot of sense. So we're just right up there. These T-posts come right down here and stop which this is a neighbor's property and this is another neighbor's property. But right over here, there's a steel pipe with a old ribbon tied on it. So I'm sure that's somebody's corner. But let me kind of get more in line here so you can see this fence is going kind of that way when it should be clear over here going straight back to the corner, because that is more in line with our north side. So all this stuff's going to get stripped out of here. So let me pan you guys around where we're at. Did manage to get this kind of widened out all the way down through here. And this T-post here, I'm not real sure. I think that's a little far that way, but again, I don't know for sure until we get. Let's see if I can show you that ribbon again. Right up through there. But there's a lot of briars, some shoemake, and some honeysuckle all through here. Got most of it ripped out, pretty much all the way down to the creek. But there's a few trees down in the creek, some oaks and some little small sapling stuff. I'm going to cut those down and just get that opened up here soon. That dead tree was actually pretty tough. Now I need to get the brush hog down here because you can see there's vines and stuff everywhere. This is a vine, thorn vine. See right there? Dozer ripped it off. It's just sitting here growing straight, so need to get the mower, brush hog, something down here. Dodge all these vines. But this tree is fairly dead. I mean, I mashed on it a few times, fairly decent. You can see how that dozer just cut right into it. But that thing still felt solid. We'll get it down here sometime. I was thinking that dead tree was on the property line, but the property line's actually clear over into here. But I got it all opened up fairly decent, I feel. It's a good start anyways. And that was really just the main concern, was I wanted to get to the north end, the northwest corner, figure out exactly where that property pin was, because we knew where it was on the northeast corner, and just kind of start opening it up. This land over here has been untouched for probably before I was born. So just getting some of it opened up, some trails so we can drive back here, see what we got. That's a big win. But I could bring the dozer back, and like all these briars, all these little things just poking up everywhere. I could take the blade and cut down a couple inches, but I'd rather not. I've already disturbed the soil enough once we, well, I mean, we've gotten some rain and that's helped settle everything, but with it all being disturbed, if we got a bunch of rain, you could start getting a bunch of stuff cut in this. So we made a trail coming in on the west side of the pond, cleared up this north end, northwest corner, and then we started going down this fence, and I think that's where the camera died. So I think now I'll take you down the west side of the fence. We can't go the whole way because there's some big trees close to the fence and a lot of briars. So some of those briars are wrapped up into the barbed wire tight enough. Whenever I was ripping it off with the dozer, the barbed wire was almost like guitar strings. It was getting so tight, and I thought I was going to break some, but luckily we didn't break any, so I don't have any to repair. But there's some big trees still in the way up against the fence that I couldn't really push out of the way, so there's a couple spots that I have to kind of go in the timber, then back out a little bit. But let's go down the east side and go up towards the front, and I'll show you all that, what I did. But there's a few big trees like this hickory right here. You know, fence is right here, right next to it. So if we want those down, we'll just have to cut them with a saw at some point. But this one is leaning away from the fence, so I'm not really worried with it. I did manage to make a few little places as I was coming down through the fence to tie into the trail that I first established here on the west side. Got a few little different brush piles, but let's continue on. And this corner right here is just a a little too tight. I'm gonna end up having to yank another one of these trees out, probably that second one in, or these outer two, which they'll make decent firewood. That's oak, but to be able to not have to turn around or back up. And when I first came through here, all this was pretty much flattened out. But you can see after leaving things like this a few days, you can see how some of those little saplings that I didn't quite get stand back up. And the road's right out here. I'll take you out to it, but I couldn't cross. Once we got down to the road, I had to end up coming back in here and making my exit. My entrance was right over there and my exit was right up through here. See, this is not a good place to pull out on the road because of that hill. Somebody tops over that hill about doing 50 mile an hour or so, they'll be right on top of me, you know, before you know it. But I want to get this opened up enough where I can put a little horn up here and drive the west fence and come right up through the property. So what I've been doing is just coming right down here and driving down the ditch to give me a little more room so I can get turned around. So there's the west side. And I did come right down here and start clearing out some of this. There's that dead tree and there's another tree up on the power line here, but I got a lot of that small stuff stripped out from this front end of the property. The little dirt mound that had all the little saplings and stuff, I went ahead and took the dozer and topped it off. I'm gonna bring Tiny up here in the dump trailer sometime, just pick up this big mound of dirt because it don't need to be up here and I could use some dirt in some other places. So I did get a little bit done off camera. Well, the phone died while I was recording and the phone went for a couple rides. I'm sure you guys seen in the video, but right up here we got all this stripped out. All this that I attempted to brush hog, but there's too many little stumps and stuff that were cut, 2 feet up off the ground. Wanted to get all that stuff out of the way. And this is that lower driveway that we sprayed in a previous video. And this is what I'm remembering. This is what I'm talking about. There was a lot of big rock down through here. I know there's a lot of dirt and different stuff like that mixed in with it, but I remember a base of like some 3-inch stuff all the way up through here. So I still think this is going to be a good place for us to park trailers and stuff once we get a lot of this stuff opened up and cleaned up. But extremely happy to have the dozer back in here. You guys can see right down here some of them dead trees and stuff that were all piled up. One of those trees was up on that power line. That's a cable line I need to cut. That power line that's right up there, you guys can't see it, barely through the tree. But glad that's all opened up. So again, this was our entrance. We've already been back in there on the east side of the property. Got that all cleared up for the most part. This was the entrance to the west side, and right down here through that little trail, that was that outlet where I came out after going down the fence line. And something else that has been astonishing for me on this property is the amount of black cherry trees that I'm finding. Here's another one. They are all over this property. Unless I'm wrong, you guys look at the leaves and look at the bark. There's one, There's another one right over here. See if I can get a... There's the leaves of it. And the bark. You can see all that. It's a little limb. A lot of moss and stuff on some of the trees down here in Oklahoma, so that'll be hard to tell. So the property that we have a lot of oak and hickory and elm and stuff like that. I've never found cherry trees on that property, and I've even went back and looked since I've been over here, because this property borders ours, and there's every bit of I found at least 20 black cherry trees. And the ironic thing with that is I had a post and I said something in a video a while back about like hickory being the best smelling wood that we had around, and I had a lot of people tell me their favorites of what was good smelling wood. And one of my viewers, Brandon Hode, that I talk to fairly regular, he actually sent me some black cherry, because again, we haven't ever had any and I've never seen it, and that stuff does smell really good. It smells amazing. But he sent me a couple little rounds, and yeah, it smells amazing. Most of the black cherry trees I'm trying to doze around. I have had to doze a couple down, small ones. I think I'm still gonna cut those up and split them in half and put them in an IBC tote for something. Not sure how well that firewood is. I imagine it makes really good smoking wood for barbecue, stuff like that, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that burn that for firewood as well. I mean, all wood burns, so yeah, it's not going to be too awful. We have gotten rain the past several days. I don't know if you guys can hear it or see it in the camera, but it is raining now, or starting to, so we're going to wrap this video up so I can get in. Just got off day shift yesterday, and I go in on night shift tonight for a 48-hour stretch of nights. So anyways, try to get some editing done, get some videos out to you guys. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching. Click the subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up if you haven't done any of that stuff. I appreciate it. The hype button as well, whatever that does, I still haven't figured it out. If any of you guys know, leave a comment and let me know. But thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.